Okay, hello and welcome to session 2. Thank you for joining me. My name's Emily and today I'm going to be taking you through some really foundational poses to help create a grounding practice. And as always with yoga, it's really important to listen to your body, tune into how you're feeling today. And there's a general rule in Hatha yoga as well that we only go 70%. So never pushing it to 100 and just playing with that edge of 70%, listening to yourself. So please ease off if you do feel any pain. So we're gonna start today looking at mountain pose. So hopefully you found yourself somewhere comfortable and you've got some space around you, maybe some water and a mat or a towel. And if we want to start with our feet completely together and then just splay your toes out a little bit like a penguin and then draw your heels in line, and hopefully that will bring your feet to hip distance apart. And we're going to start by just drawing our attention to the feet. So really just feeling within our bodies, grounding ourselves, and we'll take a nice deep breath here and sigh out. And then really just begin to notice how the ground supports your feet. So really spread out each toe, placing it down onto the ground. And thinking about the 3 points of contact with the ground. So the first one being your heel. So think about how your heel is sinking into the ground. And then the 2 points at the front of your feet. So one by the big toe and one by the little toes. So thinking about those 3 points of contact, just start to rock gently forwards and backwards. Notice how your weight distributes differently. Really draw your attention into your body. It's normal as well for our mind to wander. And if we have busy minds, it can be difficult to have a still body. This can be part of the challenge of yoga. And then just come to an even grounding throughout your feet. And working up from the bottom of your body, we want to have a slight micro bend in the knees. So a slight bend there. And a tension in the thighs, so engaging the thighs, keeping them working slightly here. And we're going to tilt the tailbone under, so we're almost stacking our pelvis underneath our spine. And if we had a tail, we'd be pushing it down between our legs. And you can use your core to keep you in here as well, to keep you standing. And we'll take a breath in and raise our shoulders up to our ears. And exhale, roll the shoulders out and down. And we'll do that a couple more times, breathing in. And don't be afraid to really audibly exhale here. One more. And thinking here, imagining about having a golden thread pulling from your chest outwards, keeping your chest nice and open, your shoulders back and relaxed. And really trying to think about that space between the shoulders and the ears. Trying to lengthen that space, relax the shoulders down. And finally imagining a golden thread coming up from the crown of your head, really elongating the spine. It's often not a natural position we'd find ourselves in. We often find ourselves hunched over desks or computers, especially if we're studying. It's really just elongating the spine there and bringing the hands to the side. So although simple, this is a really fundamental pose in yoga, mountain pose, Tadasana, standing pose. And you might even want to imagine yourself as a mountain here, standing. It's a really grounding pose. And it's something, these kind of points of contact with the ground, so the way that our feet are grounded through the earth, the open chest, the elongated spine, and the 4 points of contact through the shoulders and the hips stacked on top of each other are really fundamental to think of in every pose. And in every pose that you do, you may want to think about these foundations. And of course the breath. So yoga means to yoke, so it's to combine the body and the mind and the breath. And this can be a challenge to keep all of these engaged. So it's always about drawing your attention back to your body, drawing your attention back to your breath, and synchronizing the breath and the body. So we'll take a breath in here, sending our hands up to the sky, breathing in, looking up with our hands as we do, and sighing out. We'll do this a couple more times, breathing in and sighing out. And breathing in. And we'll take one breath in, hand to heart center. Relaxing the shoulders, breathing out, hands by the side. And then just to create a little bit of a loosening through the body, we're just going to gently allow our hands just be limp, and we'll twist around. So this is really good for the spine and just generally warming up the body. So as you spin around, it'd be great if you could tap one shoulder with one hand and just around the base of your spine, around where the kidney is with the other, and just allowing the opposite heel to lift up off the ground, a little bit like a golf swing. And just trace half circles with your head as well. So really good just for loosening up the body. Ooh. Need to have a bit of space around you for this one. Okay, that's great. And then just coming back to standing, just want to bring your hands out to side. They're just out at about 45 degrees. And taking a breath in, we're going to look over our right shoulder. And breathing out, drawing the chin down to the chest. Taking these half moon, half circles. Breathing in at the left side. And breathing out, rounding the head down. Taking a breath in. Trying to remember those foundational points of the asana, the pose that we went through in mountain. And just gently warming up the neck. Somewhere where a lot of tension can be held. And a couple more. Okay, that's great. Now we're gonna come to the top of our mat, facing forward on the mat, and coming into mountain pose as we have. And we're gonna take a breath in here, raise our arms up to the sky, and then we're gonna swan dive down, so bringing the arms out to the side to protect the lower back, and keeping the back straight using the core. We're gonna come down until about halfway, and then allow our spine to roll over. Bring our hands down towards the ground. It doesn't matter where they get to, but just allowing
your top half of your body to be heavy and limp. Just letting gravity do a lot of the work here. So this is forward fold, Uttanasana. And if you want to clasp either elbow here, and this can help just to encourage gravity to bring your spine down. This can release tension in the shoulders, release tension in the neck. Not worrying too much again about how low you are to the ground, but just listening to your body and breathing in to elongate the spine. Breathing out to draw the chest towards the thighs. And again, keeping a micro bend in the knees here. And you can just sway a little bit, feeling into this pose, feeling what feels good for your body today. And you can shake your head no, so just shaking your head here, and that again can just release some of that tension. And you're looking through your knees here. And just see if on each exhale you can draw yourself a little bit closer towards your thighs with your chest. And then on the next exhale, releasing the hands down. And then on an inhale, breathing in up to tabletop position. And then exhaling to come all the way up, hands up to the sky. Breathing in here. Exhaling, hands down. Just going to do that once more time with a bit of a chest opener as well. So breathing in, hands up to the sky. Breathing out, bringing the hands down. This time bringing the palms behind the back, palms to palms, clasping the hands behind the back, but not having the palms touching, so keeping the palms apart. And you're really straightening the arms here, pushing back, opening up the chest, opening up the heart. So imagining that thread coming forward up from your heart, having that micro bend in your knees as well, and feeling that grounding through the feet. Taking a breath in here, and on an exhale, folding forward, allowing gravity to bring your hands down towards the ground, opening up your chest, but keeping an integrity there, so still pushing back on that whilst folding forward. And just taking a couple of breaths here. And on the next exhale, just slowly bringing your hands back down towards your bottom, the lower spine, releasing the hands and allowing them to come back down to the ground here. And taking one nice breath. And then breathing in to half lift, tabletop, and then exhaling. Bring the hands up to the sky. Breathing in here and exhaling, hands by the side. So we're gonna come down now into another really important pose in yoga, especially if you're just kind of starting out, and that is child's pose. So this is a really great restorative pose, and it's something that I would encourage if you were ever during any kind of class, whether online or in person, if it started to feel like your body needed a break, you needed a rest, this is a really good pose to come into at any point. And that's the same for any of these videos that you watch. If you feel like your body needs that rest, just come down into this nice restorative pose. So we're going to start in tabletop here. So the idea here being that your shoulder's directly above your wrist and your hip is directly above your knee. We're going to bring our big toes to touch here and then send our hands forward and send our hips back. So our hips have gone back towards our feet and our hands are reaching forward. Forehead comes down onto the mat. There's a few different variations of this, so you can have your knees closer together to get more of a rounding through the spine. You can have your knees further apart to allow your chest to sink down lower. Sometimes this can be a difficult pose if you struggle with flexibility in the ankles, and if that's the case, I'd recommend just popping a pillow just here, and that can just help to ease the flexibility there. But wherever you've chosen to come, just find your way into this position. And just take some grounding breaths here. And imagine sending your breath down, back into the lower spine, so into the back here. Sending that breath down. And really surrender yourself into this pose. Picture any tension in the body, and on each exhale, imagining that just seeping away down into the ground. Okay, and then when you're ready, if you want to come back up into a comfortable seated position, and again that might be using a little cushion or a towel to sit on to help elongate the spine. So thank you very much for joining me today. Hopefully it's given you a little bit of an idea about what yoga is and how we can ground ourselves with these fundamental poses. So I guess it's important to bear in mind that yoga doesn't have to be really extravagant or really difficult poses. It's often just about synchronizing the body, the mind and the breath. And my yoga instructor told me that you can be doing yoga just by moving your finger. If you're doing that with a mindful mind and synchronizing your breath as well. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to see you on more of the 21 days of yoga. Namaste. Thank you very much.